From now on, I don't care if someone is contributing to society based on how much money they make. Whether or not they're contributing to society no longer even bothers me, because the idea that you have to earn access to the bare minimum just in order to survive is capitalistic propaganda. It's dogma. The fact that respect and dignity and human rights are withheld and doled out based on performance reviews, and based on how much money you make, your net worth, the color of your skin, who you got squeezed out of, your mom, like all this stuff is so arbitrary, your country of origin, it's absolutely insane. We're basing human rights on a performance review. There are so many ways to contribute to society without making money. How do you expect someone to contribute in the first place when access to healthcare is pay to play? We demonize people going through tragedy and hard times, and most people are only one paycheck away from being homeless anyway. Peace of mind should not be a privilege. How many people actually have peace of mind these days when we're all scrapping for survival out here? We shouldn't have to earn humane treatment. It should just be a given right. We should all just be able to have at least a default level of human decency for people. And that being said, I think ambition and this idea that we're taught that we have to perform in order to be worth something has been something that has negatively impacted me for a very long time. As many of you know, I'm 32 years old. I am a visual artist, and you can support my art through my Shopify, which the link is in the description and the comments below. And at this point, I am unemployed. I'm currently fielding some interviews for some lower level retail positions, but at this point, my ambition is just to live a quiet life. And we are supposed to suffer in silence while the rich are getting their bag right now. I honestly think that we have been convinced through religion that we receive our riches in death after a life of labor, and this is an absolute psyop. It's used to control the masses and accept our crumbs. We're supposed to accept our crumbs and be grateful for the bare minimum and have that be a virtue. It's the greatest Ponzi scheme ever told. Religion is just meant to keep the masses under the thumb of the elites. It's always been that way. We demonize the rich through religion and feel a sense of moral superiority in our poverty. And most religion controls us through fear. Through fear of silence, through fear of speaking up, and fear of obedience. Do as I say or else is not leadership, it's control. We are currently being controlled by religion, by the government, by our parents, by the cultures of our origin. Most of us have experienced fear-based leadership and fear-based control at least once in our life. And silence is seen as good behavior. Shrinking yourself becomes an inescapable habit. Not taking up space, especially as a woman, becomes a virtue. And it's actually a big fucking scam. But we're punished when we don't do it. Is it any wonder why I struggle with boundaries today after being told to shrink myself my entire life, to minimize my needs, to be as convenient as possible for other people, and to meet the needs of others? It's any wonder that I don't want to be a caretaker, because I've been conditioned to be that, and I want to rebel against something that I really don't think is a natural trait of mine, to be honest with you. I think it's just cultural conditioning. Standing up for yourself can honestly make things worse. A holy book is not a source of evidence. It is a source material for control and suppression of the masses. That is my opinion. Maybe you share the same opinion. Staying quiet has never once protected me. Tolerating harm has made my body contain a secret war. And yet I still have a hard time speaking up in groups. I have a hard time saying what's on my mind in the moment because I'm afraid of the consequences, especially since I'm not financially independent. Society teaches us always to want more, yet at the same time expects nothing that we don't earn. You know the quote from Fight Club, buying things that you don't want to impress people that you don't like. Well, we don't need much to survive. We were conditioned to perform and to prove ourselves since birth. And it's all one big scam. And I got paint on my arm right now. So that brings me to today's introduction. My name is Shelby. Like I said earlier, I'm 32 years old. You can support this channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, all the usual nonsense that we love to do here. Sharing, of course, also helps. And if you want to take it a step farther, you can buy me a coffee down below in the description. And you can also check out my art so that you can have something tangible for your money and basically support my art career as well. I'm also open for commissions. So if you have anything like a pet portrait, a family portrait, any kind of art that you need, you know where to go. You can check out my Instagram. That's the best place is to DM me on Instagram, and we can talk about a price that will work for you. And I can even go under, $50 at this point for original art if you want to, depending on the size. So anyway, at this point, I am looking for work, and I'm also basically feeling like I'm an anti-capitalist as well, because I feel like we were forced to learn how to socialize. We were trained like animals to jump through the hoops of society. And we pay for these credentials just to say that we went to university, just to have a pedigree, just to say I'm associated with this type of class of people, just to get a shit job where you're treated like shit, just to meet the bare minimum of survival. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me to jump through all those hoops. Why not just do the bare minimum by default? Working harder to have more stuff is honestly a waste of time. Just try to be content with what you have. And no one talks about how much of ambition is outside of your control. It requires a healthy body, a healthy mind, strong executive functions, stability, unless of course your ambition is to smoke dope and do drugs. Then you don't need any of that. You can just be ambitious and get high. The superficiality of climbing the social ladder is usually just a way to look good in the eyes of others and to avoid punishment. It seems like if you see past the conditioning, none of this actually matters in the first place. I remember my parents thought I was a good kid in high school because I never did drugs or partied, but in reality I simply wasn't invited because I saw through the psyop of socializing with these vagrants. I honestly don't regret not scaling the social ladder and not smoking and doing drugs in high school, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it. I don't think I would have liked myself just to be accepted by people I don't have anything in common with in the first place. Even though money doesn't buy happiness, you could argue that crying in a Lamborghini is better than crying on the streets. So I guess there is an argument for ambition because money makes life suck less. But life is still mostly miserable regardless of resources. It's significantly worse without them, that's for sure. But the rewards of having basic resources is not that great. There's like a diminishing return when it comes to resources at a certain point. Ambition requires fitting in, and fitting in requires lying. And I guess I just don't know how to do it. I really don't. I almost regret getting good grades in high school because it all amounted to nothing in the end. It was meaningless, and I fell for the psyop. I just want to live a comfortable life earned with my own money. But I just can't play pretend. I can't just try smiling more, as I've been told. I can't just pretend to be happy when I'm not. The fake customer service smile to me is unnecessary. It's an Americanism. As an American who's lived here and who has never even gotten the chance to travel, I can honestly say I think that smiling to strangers is a social construct. It's silly. I don't want to work harder than the bare minimum that it takes to survive. Ambition also has a lot to do with validation. It's just an image or a positive... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? It's just an image, or it's a way to regulate someone else's opinion of you, basically, and change the way you look in someone else's mind. My life is already a blur, and I doubt that I'm going to regret not working hard on my deathbed. I think I would regret not pursuing my passions and not spending time with my friends and not living my best life, especially when it comes to art on my deathbed. I don't think I'm going to regret not having a college degree and working my ass off and working myself into an early grave. Finding contentment and living a boring life is the secret to true freedom. America is only a free country for the top 1%. We are all slaves waving the flag, thinking that breaking our backs for the bare minimum of survival is what freedom looks like. I remember before 2020, hustle culture was extremely popular and glorified, but even then I never fell for it. It seemed like a scam, and it made me ask, when was enough enough? I've never been one to overwork myself. I don't strive for what other people want. It doesn't make me happy. Competition, jealousy, all of it seems pointless to me. I just feel like there's enough for everybody and we don't all have to scrap for survival. If we all split the resources evenly and actually did some sustainable thinking, it would be possible for everyone to get fed and have food, but that's just not the allocation of resources. That's not reality. I don't want to play a character anymore. I make a bit of pocket change from YouTube, as you guys know, and I'm hoping that I can add a part-time job on top of what I'm making from YouTube so that maybe I can think about saving up for a trailer. I don't know what I'm going to do and how I'm going to move out, but I really do want my own money. I mean, it's unavoidable. As much as I don't like capitalism, we do have to have money to survive. But that would be enough for me, and I realize now that the reason I have felt like I'm not enough is because of other people's projections and their insecurities putting them onto me. Hard work was never something that I managed to internalize. I was left to my own devices for the most part as a kid, and I never really had discipline instilled within me. My own family has done very little to help me in achieving anything. I wasn't told how to think outside of the box, and now I'm afraid that it is too late. I don't enjoy a hard day's work, and especially when it's just to earn money, and I feel trapped in a life that I don't want. I don't want to waste time at a job that makes more than what is absolutely necessary. I don't believe I should earn downtime. I think downtime and free time is the entire point, not something to exist on the margins or just the weekends. I might live to be 80, or I could get cancer tomorrow. And at this point, art is my main priority, and I don't see a reason to chase anything outside of that. I don't want to get to my deathbed with my paintings unpainted and my stories untold. That would be my greatest regret. Contentment is the antidote to capitalism and all the lies we've been sold. There is nothing to chase. The hamster wheel is a way to distract from the inner turmoil, and you can only run for so long. Taking the time to self-reflect is rebellion in a world that wants us to constantly avoid ourselves, yet at the same time center ourselves. It's very strange. Art is the medicine. Human creation is under attack, and learning to make things with your hands is extremely valuable, especially now with AI. There is an inherent value in human creativity, and I don't want us to lose that. That's why I value making stuff with my hands so very much. The pressure to be doing something that's braggable or post-worthy is not one that I will continue to fall for or feel like I'm being affected by. Chasing validation will never be worth it or lead to a source of fulfillment in the end. Other people hate that I no longer chase their approval. I no longer chase to achieve anything outside of just improving my art and painting what I want to paint. I don't even pursue a career in art in the sense that I want to work at a commercial studio anymore. I just want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and maybe that's a hobby. You could argue that, but I'm taking it fairly seriously for a hobby at this point. But anyway, I no longer chase anything. Eventually, the types of people that expected me to chase their approval began to fall away, and I can't be controlled if all I have to worry about is me. I can't be controlled if I don't care what other people think of me. Simplicity is freedom. By living a low-key life, I avoid drama in my relationships, and I can focus on creation. American society wants to drain us and promise us a fantasy, a dream. The American dream. Dreams are fantasies, kids, which no longer exists and maybe never did. If you want to pursue things, ask yourself why. And usually it's because you want to affect the way people are seeing you. You want to affect the way you're being perceived. I want to get to the point where I no longer care about social conditioning like respect and status. I just want to make my art and meet my basic needs at this point. Impressing others makes us value things that actually have no value. Even physical cash is one of those things. It's just a way to create. We invented currency as a arbitrary form of value. What impresses people is made up, and it depends completely on your culture of origin. In the West, we are taught to be impressed by VIP tables at the club, fast cars, and attractive women. In India, cows and goats are status symbols. So what we're conditioned to value is completely fucking random in the first place. Ambition is not the reason we should. Like, most ambition is because we want to impress other people. We want to impress people we don't like to buy things we don't need. So ask yourself if your ambitions are even yours at all, or if they are just a desire to alter people's perceptions of you. I've made myself vulnerable online, and at this point, my only ambition is authenticity. So I really want to live an authentic life, and I want to live free from the desires of other people and their projections onto my life. I believe a true life of freedom does involve a level of financial independence. As you guys know, I'm not financially independent yet. That is one of my goals. Being 32 and dependent on my parents is not the best situation. Like I said, I am fielding some interview offers. I'm trying to get into some part-time work here just to earn, maybe another $1,200 a month, which would be great. And combined with the couple $100 a month on YouTube, that's probably not enough to move out, but it's enough to cover my ass at least and start to save and invest. Because I want to have something that's mine. And I know we were talking about not buying things that you don't need and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, independence is part of freedom. And I think freedom from ambition requires having at least enough ability to take care of yourself so that you can at least, purchase your basic needs. But the fact that we live in a society where it is so hard to meet those basic needs without familial support it makes it so rigged. Society is rigged. So maybe you guys relate to the idea that value is arbitrary, that ambition is arbitrary, that maybe the reason that I had such a hard time chasing these dreams was because they were never my dreams at all. These arbitrary things that I was told to do were never compatible with me. A path was laid out for me that I didn't want to take, and I tried it and I failed. And it was never really my fault at the end of the day. I still had to bear the brunt of those fallen expectations, and I still had to bear the brunt of the people criticizing me for failure, but I really don't believe that failure was ever truly my fault. I know that I didn't succeed, but at the end of the day, it's just a failure. Most of my internalized self-loathing comes from people projecting themselves onto me. It's gotten to a point where my parents are very laissez-faire, although to be honest, they always have been. It's like they don't offer me guidance. They didn't offer me a lot of guidance as a kid, but I was very harshly punished for not knowing any better. And that's put me in a fear of making mistakes. And at this point, I don't want to chase anything that I don't think is going to be worth my time. I don't want to waste any more time than I absolutely have to procuring and securing my basic needs at this point. My goal at this point is to make enough to survive, obviously enough to save and invest, but nothing else. I really don't want any luxuries at this point. Besides, if I could choose one luxury that I want, I would probably get an expensive paint set by Old Holland, which is the most expensive oil paint in the world. A tube this size would cost you like $500, just to give you an idea. So one of my pipe dream luxury goals, if I ever end up with some extra money, would be to spend about $5,000 on an Old Holland paint set. But that's like, sis, that's like if I win a small lottery ticket or something like that, I'll spend it on some Old Holland paint. But it's really not even that necessary. Even then, like if I had $5,000 to blow, would I spend it all on expensive paint, or could I just buy a lot of cheap paint and have the same thing? It's like, what's really the point? I think frugality is a rebellion as well. And I'm trying to be frugal with what I got. Just a reminder, my commissions are open. My Buy Me a Coffee is down there. You can leave super chats and channel thanks and whatever else, super thanks. And I'm thinking about starting live streaming my art soon. So again, my name is Shelby. I really appreciate you guys supporting my channel as always. We're very close to 10K, so go ahead and push that subscribe button and get us closer to that 10K mark. And thank you guys again for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.